Hello and welcome to the Big Wobble. Now, what did 9/11, London 7/7, the Boston bombings, and the Paris attack all have in common? Well, folks, you can't make this up. They all carried out emergency drills on the same day the events took place. Footage has emerged of Paris officials openly admitting that an exercise was being conducted the day of the Paris attacks. In the footage, the Chief of Emergency Services for the City of Paris, Pierre Carly, was speaking on France 5 TV on the 17th of November. He goes on to say, that evening had in fact started that morning because we were doing an exercise with the exact same scenario as the one which happened that night. In another interview with Pierre Carly, again on French 5 the day before, the lady presenter asked the question, the same morning the emergency services was running a multi-site attack exercise, is that true? Pierre Carly answers, that is something that when we mention it now does seem unreal. He goes on, we were running a simulation of what was going to happen that night. You have to ask the question, when does this stop being a coincidence? I've provided a link for the full video below. The US Navy is wholly or part to blame for the whale and sea mammal deaths in the Gulf and West and East Coasts of America, claims Rear Admiral Kevin Slates. In a report in August 2013, he said that training and testing for new underwater explosives would kill hundreds of whales and dolphins and injure tens of thousands more in the coming 5 years. He also went on to say 20 million dolphins and whales off the east coast would change their behaviour as a direct result of Navy testing, with a similar amount on the western coast. He also goes on to say 11,000 sea mammals would suffer serious injury and another 2 million would suffer minor injury such as hearing loss. Around 100 people are dead and more than 100 missing after a landslide near a jade mine in Myanmar. Millions of dead fish found near the tiny Sanibel Island, southwest Florida, means the entire Gulf of Mexico coastline is now affected by red tide. But scientists claim all is well. The red tide phenomenon, called Corinia brevis, does not affect only marine life but also humans and mammals. Now for a flurry of volcano and earthquake activity this week. Canlaon volcano, Philippines, rumbles back to life and ejects a white plume of ash a mile into the sky. Mexico's Colima volcano of fire is continuing its rampant activity, spitting out ash and instilling fear in both locals and visitors alike. A new lava breakout this week on Big Island, Hawaii. Kilauea volcano continues to host a lava lake at its summit. Two massive 7.6ers rocked the Peru-Brazil border in less than an hour this week, and then the very next day a magnitude 6.7 rocks the same place. The quakes were very deep and happened in a sparsely populated area, so luckily casualties were light. On Friday, a magnitude 6.2 struck northern Chile, making it the 16th major quake of November and the 135th of 2015. The blood moons swing into event mode. We was warned. Just 57 days since the last blood moon on September the 28th, and the world was holding its breath as the Middle East dragged the world onto a knife edge, as President Putin vowed revenge for Turkey shooting down a Russian warplane. Fire crews struggling to contain an enormous bushfire near Adelaide. Confirmation of multiple reports of injuries and structural damage as crews battle the fast-moving bushfire being fanned by catastrophic weather conditions. A sickening haze that has spread across Southeast Asia is now killing kids and livestock as NASA warns of a disaster of its kind never seen before. A raging 3-month forest fire has released vast plumes of smoke. The toxic yellow cloud has spread across Guinea, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia and the Philippines. It's been called a deluge in Doha. A year's rain in a couple of hours wrecks Qatar's new $17 billion airport. Hurricane Sandra made landfall in northern Mexico Saturday, bringing with it torrential rain. Tropical storm Sandra formed on November the 24th and a day later became an Eastern Pacific late season hurricane. Thousands of the potentially deadly species known as the morph stinger, a jellyfish, have been washing up on Cornish beaches in England this week. Evacuation alert, as Samoa is battered by tropical cyclone Tuni 04P. Reports of flash flooding across the island, with homes being evacuated as a direct hit is expected. And finally, Storm Clodagh closes in. The next Atlantic storm is, as of now, battering Ireland, the UK and here in Holland, just 1 week after Storm Barney, which registered winds of nearly 100 miles an hour. It's the third named storm to hit the UK already, and it's still only November. Britain is braced for 19 inches of snow in the coming days with gale force winds. Well, that's it, folks. That's November done. I'll see you all next week.